Hello everyone and welcome to another Cons Q&A where you guys ask the questions and I answer them. So how's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing fine. As always, remember that this show is accompanied by the other show which I'm currently calling Cons Gamecast, although that name may change if it so happens to strike my fancy, so to speak. Man, I'm really bad in English vocabulary lately, so do not kill me for that. But as usual, always remember that all the questions that are featured in this show are questions asked to me on Rurikhan.com. You can check a link in the description box below and ask your questions on that website, and I will do my best to answer as many as possible. Now, obviously, there are time constraints, so I won't be able to answer everyone's question, but still, be assured I read every single comment here on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, all over the place. But I seriously I can only answer them in one place, and that is Rurikhan.com. So check out the website if you still haven't. Leave your comments there. If you have any special questions or anything like that, I try to address as much as possible. And that's that. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get started with this week's Q&A. With the very first comment, we have Plex, and Plex has this to say about Kingdoms of Amalur. I had a huge interest in Kingdoms of Amalur before it was released. I believe it dropped in February because come early January I was getting bored of Skyrim and I knew I needed a filler game to make the wait for Kingdoms of Amalur more bearable. That game, Dark Souls. Well, needless to say, that filler game became my religion and I completely stopped caring about Kingdoms of Amalur. I finally picked up Kingdoms of Amalur a few weeks ago but couldn't get much further past where Khan is in this video. I just felt the only thing driving me to play this game was me. The characters are bland and uninteresting. I cared nothing for any of them. The main story never seemed to pick up or compel me to keep playing. The combat was fun, but it just wasn't enough to carry this game until it got interesting. If Kingdoms of Amalur was a pie, it would have had too much filling and not enough crust. Much respect, Brofist. So Plex here is... That's actually an amusing story. So you picked up Dark Souls as a filler game? Man, Dark Souls is the best game made to date, in my opinion. Of course, each gamer will have his own opinion, but to me, Dark Souls, best game made to date. I'm not even exaggerating. This is my honest opinion. It's just that good. I've been playing the hell out of Dark Souls ever since I stopped doing the playthroughs, and it's just, I've made like three characters. I'm not sure. I've made a whole bunch of characters. Been playing as a pyromancer. Been playing as a guy from the Dragon Covenant. Been having a lot of fun with that, and I mean, I just can't get tired of Dark Souls. There's always so much stuff to do, to explore, to play around with. I mean, I don't know, Dark Souls is just amazing. Now, regarding the fact that you didn't enjoy Kingdoms of Amalur, I have to give you something. It's hard to care about the characters in Kingdoms of Amalur. I find myself in the same position that you, honestly. I can't really say I care any of them lives or dies so far. They haven't really made me care about any of the characters. But the thing that kind of keeps me going is mostly the combat, because I think the combat system is a lot of fun. Although the game is still pretty easy, but I don't know, I'm getting through it. I think it's still a fun game, despite the fact that, like you said, I don't really care about any of the characters. But yeah, anyways, thank you very much for your comment, Plex. Next up, we have a comment from Who Cares for My Nickname Anyway? That's a nice nickname you got there, buddy. Who cares for my nickname anyway? And he says, I think you should let Lautrec alive just to show us the invasion and dialogue of the Firekeeper. You will be who will be able to talk after resurrection. If you don't want to, just screw my comment because you're a dwarf with a fucking tree lock. By the way, what covenant do you plan to join? Oh, and we have asterisks in Germany, but I don't know about the US. Anyway, keep up your work up. It's awesome. So regarding asterisks in Germany, I kind of suspected that Europe has asterisks all over the place, but my curiosity was actually in the US, if they have asterisks or not. But anyways, disregarding that, yeah, I never did show you guys the invasion of Lautrec when you invade him to get the Firekeeper soul back for the Firekeeper that he kills. I might make a character just to show you that eventually, but it's not a big priority right now. Unfortunately for the dwarf, I believe I killed him straight up. I'm not sure if I did or not, because it's been a long time since I've touched that dwarf character. It is the one character I haven't touched, because eventually I will continue that Let's Play. But yeah, for the dwarf, I don't think it's going to happen, but I might do it later on another character to show you guys about it. So thank you very much for your comment. Who cares for my nickname anyways? Next up, we have a comment by someone called Nevermind. Nevermind has this to say: I started watching your show and Dark Souls videos recently. Doing great so far. It's nice to know that I'm not the only one that gets a backstab when he's in the other corner of the room and facing to the opponent. Yeah, lag stabbing in this game is a bitch, and it is really, really frustrating. But I have to also say that it has happened to me as well, like me doing a lag stab on an opponent. It has happened to me. I don't even do it on purpose. Like, let's say someone invades me, I'm whacking at them, I see them on their side, they're on their sides, you know, like circling around, and I'm on the sides dual wielding, and all of a sudden I'm doing a backstab, and I'm like, that wasn't really intentional, but who cares? But no, seriously, it's really, 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 really bad, and I wish they'd fix that lag, because, I mean, it's just lag. It's just poor internet services we have, and with this game's mechanics, it's quite unforgiving because of the lag stabbing. Anyways, Nevermind also has this to say: my opinion regarding the projects. What about 2 projects plus some old games like Final Fantasy 7, 8, or 9? Grandia and Chrono Cross are also quite nice. Simply good old PSX games. Don't know about that. I played Final Fantasy 8 a long ass time ago, but I don't really have it for the PlayStation. And Grandia and Chrono Cross, no idea. Never really played any of them. Like, again, I wasn't a console gamer until 2010 or something, so up until that point, I was strictly PC gaming and mostly MMORPGs, as you guys know. He also has a question about Diablo 3. Will there be something like Battle.net in Diablo 2? And if there is, will it be for free? Greetings from Germany. I believe that it is Blizzard's intention that it is for free, but lately, given the current repertoire of how Blizzard is doing things, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they just pulled out of their ass and say, oh, you guys got to pay, I don't know, €5 a month to use Battle.net service. It would not surprise me one bit, because it seems to me lately that Blizzard is a little bit grabbing for straws, but I doubt it. I mean, sure, it wouldn't surprise me, but it's still highly doubtful. So I believe that it is going to be completely for free. Obviously, they have their money-driven auction house that's going to make them billions of dollars. So I don't think they're going to need to steal your money just yet. And when they do, they're probably just going to chuck it in the real money auction house. They'll be like, oh, let's just sell God knows how many gold. Let's flood the economy. It doesn't really matter, because they say they aren't going to do it, but I doubt it. I mean, come on. They're going to grab a couple of items, chuck them in there, make a couple of bucks. I mean, let's face it, Blizzard is also going heavy on monetization. They did start the whole Sparkle Pony trend, so I can't really say that I trust them with a real money auction house. They're going to put items in there. They're going to make money out of it, so I don't think they're going to need your money to support Battle.net. Anyways, next up, we have a comment by Mistral, and Mistral says, go for many different projects. Just check what other YouTube blog gamers are doing. For example, a Polish example, he links to YouTube channels. He says around 2 videos a day, going with around 10 thematics at the same time, around 100,000 subscriptions. I believe this is how it should play out. I know Demon Souls is great, but going for many different series is the way to improve the channel, and of course, going with things you like. Another thing, it's been around 8 months since you stopped having videos with someone else. And the last thing, whining and complaining are the main topics in the Rurikhan shows and Alcon casts. These are my observations and my opinion. Wish you good luck, having fun, and many improvements in the future. So the thing about me, stop having videos along with someone else. I mean, seriously, if you guys knew the amount of shit I give Side Strafe because I want him to co-host the show with me, but he just doesn't want to do it. I mean, I've been pestered. I believe even yesterday I pestered him about it, and he just doesn't want to do it. And it's not easy just finding someone that could be a co-host for a show like this, because they need to have certain gaming knowledge. Apart from having certain gaming knowledge, they need to have fluent English. Apart from having fluent English, they need to be able to maintain a conversation and know how to switch themes and how to, basically you need to be a video game commentator, and you need to have knowledge of games that interest me and the projects that I'm working on. And in all honesty, the only person that really qualifies for that at this particular point is Sidestrafe, and he doesn't want to do it. So it's not really my choice. I've pestered him quite some time. Whining and complaining are the main topics in the Rurikhan shows. I'm not sure I'd agree to that. I mean, I guess I do rant a lot on Blizzard, and I do rant a lot on the fact that I don't get enough beta keys and whatnot and all that kinds of stuff. But I'm trying to not rant as much, so I'm sorry if you get that impression, but it's really not my intention. So I'll try to work on that a little bit. Regarding the 2 channels you linked to me, the thing is, I'm not sure I can, well, for starters, I obviously can't upload 2 videos a day because of my weak-ass internet. I mean, it's just not possible for me to upload 2 videos a day. It won't even matter if I try, because I'm already uploading 24/7. I am literally uploading 24/7 at this point. If you guys were ever to come into my house, you would turn on my PC, would be uploading. And if it's not uploading, it's because I decide, okay, I need to give my PC an 8-hour break or something. Just let it be off for a while. But apart from that, it's uploading 24/7 all the time. My videos are always being uploaded. Like right now, I'm uploading, I believe, episode 24 of Kingdoms of Amalur. So yeah, and regarding having multiple thematics, 10 thematics at the same time, I don't think I could advance as much as I'm advancing in Demon Souls and Kingdoms of Amalur. That's the main issue, is that I want to advance. I don't just want to make a random video about something and never touch it again. I want to actually finish the projects that I've worked on. The only project of this kind that I've actually ever finished has been Dark Souls projects. I've done 2 playthroughs of those, and I'm really proud of the fact that I played it all the way, finished the project, and I like finishing projects. I like doing them all the way, which is why I can't cover 10 things at once. But obviously I do plan on doing more than just the games that I'm covering right now, and even in just random episodes of a couple of games. But some of the games that I'm working on, which is the reason why I said 2 projects plus whatever else, it's like those 2 projects I want to finish. Once those 2 projects are done, I want to get started on more projects that will go all the way up until the end of the game. And in the meantime, I also want to have other stuff, like just random videos of other games. Like, for instance, right now you could call the random videos could be malicious, for instance. So yeah. So thank you very much for your comment, Miss Troll. I appreciate the feedback, and I'll try to be a little less whiny. I would actually call myself more of a ranter than a whiner, but anyways, next up we have a comment by Red Van Dam, and he has this to say: Con! 2 projects is good, dude. Any more than that, and I think they'll start to get lost in the cycle, as you said. Myself, I am pumped to see more Demon Souls and would gladly take more of them over more Dark Souls. As great as Dark Souls is, it's been done twice. Time for new content. On the topic of DLC, I'd never heard of the Tekken DLC scandal. It's not Tekken, it's Street Fighter X Tekken. 12 characters on the disc that will be unlocked if you buy the DLC is crazy. I thought Mass Effect 3 having some of the From Ashes DLC on it was bad, but that Tekken stuff should be illegal. On pre-order DLC and bonuses, I am for them. It basically just secures sales of the game, which I have no real problem with. Keep raping fools' faces, bro fist. Okay, I am also against pre-order DLC. Let me just explain. I'm against pre-order DLC because, I mean, here's the thing. What a lot of people don't understand, and I don't even think that game companies have a full notion of what they're doing, is that when they announce pre-order DLC, immediately a lot of people in Europe are getting fucked. Because we're going to pre-order regardless. Like, for instance, let's take a look at a very practical example of something that's going to happen to me, which is Dragon's Dogma. It has pre-order DLC. And I'm like, okay, whatever, pre-order DLC. I can't get that pre-order DLC. I'm going to pre-order it. I'm not going to get the content because I'm in Portugal, and we don't get pre-order DLCs in Portugal. I believe we don't get pre-order DLCs in most of Europe. It's usually GameStops and Amazons and whatever. And in Europe, we get Jack. And that pisses me off because, I mean, it is exclusive content that I will never have access to, regardless if I pre-order or not pre-order. So either these companies need to make sure that everyone can get access to this content, or they need to just not do it, because as a gamer, I feel ripped off. I mean, and this is even worse. Just yesterday, I was at a GameStop. Not even a game shop. It's a general store that sells stuff, and among the stuff it sells games. So I'm looking at the pre-order details for Prototype, and it says, pre-order now, you'll get an exclusive move. What? So if someone buys Prototype 2 in a year from now, there's going to be one move that the character's never going to make. And the guy's like, oh, it's just a move, it doesn't matter. The game is incomplete, come on. I don't want to devolve into this whole DLC rant once again, but I am so much against DLC. It's not even funny. I mean, at least on launch DLC or whatever. I mean, DLC 2-3 months down the road, I'm fine with that, as long as it's a good DLC. Not like some of the stuff that I've been seeing lately, which is, oh, $5, buy yourself a new outfit for your fucking character. I'm sorry. What? Why don't you roll up that outfit that you just made and shove it up your ass? Seriously, buy an outfit for your character? Come on. Or buy gear for your character. Buy gear? What kind of a gamer are you if you're buying gear? No, I'm sorry. There's huge issues that I have with DLC. And pre-order DLC is also a huge issue for me. I have problems with it. So yeah. And even bonuses as well. Like, for instance, someone pre-orders from somewhere else and they get a special bonuses. I don't know. I remember the Mortal Kombat thing. Oh, pre-order here, you'll get the classic Scorpion outfit. And I'm like, I'd like to have the classic Scorpion outfit. Guess what? I don't have it. I would have to pay extra for it because... But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm devolving into this whole DLC rant. Yeah. Thanks for your comment, Red Van Dam. Next up, we have a comment from Necromancer333, and he has this to say. So wait a second, Necromancer333, so he's only half the devil. He's not really the devil himself. He's a half devil. So maybe he's like I don't know, maybe he's like a half demon, half man kind of thing. Okay, anyways, he has this to say. Hey, Ruri, you were speaking about even if a game gets bad-mouthed by you or anyone else, that it should be about what you think. Well, not what I think, what the user thinks. I agree with you totally on that. One game that you may or may not know, but I happen to enjoy playing, is Divinity 2 Ego Draconis. It got a lot of bad reviews, but I still enjoy playing it. I also wanted to let you know to keep up the good work. I enjoy all of your videos. This is a point that I cannot get across enough. It is the fact that it doesn't matter what anyone else says about a game. What matters is, are you interested in the game? Do you want to play the game? So play it. What's the problem? I don't care if someone else says, oh, the game is bad, the game is evil, the game is terrible, the developers are the devil. Doesn't matter. If you like the game, play it. I know that sometimes I tend to badmouth World of Warcraft or Diablo lately or whatever. And it doesn't matter what I say. I mean, you can take it for what it is. It is an opinion. You might have a different opinion. Like, I have friends of mine that love all kinds of different games, and I don't blame them for it. I mean, it's just types of games that I sometimes happen not to enjoy. And it doesn't mean it's not a good game. It means that I will not take enjoyment on playing it, but someone else might. So just remember, in the end, it's really all up to you. So if someone badmouths the crap out of your game, it doesn't matter. It just means that person doesn't like it. You might eventually like it. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure we got that point across. Oh boy, this next comment. Oh, PJ Cricket, you have no idea what you are about to unleash here. I'm going to tell you why I badmouth Portugal. I'm just going to tell you a couple of things. Now, for one, you say that Portuguese people tend not to try to change things. I've tried to change things quite a few times. You know what happens with Portuguese people, though, is they don't stick together. That's the problem with Portuguese people. A lot of Portuguese people know that stuff is wrong. They know that something must be done. And probably a lot of them even tried doing it. The thing is, Portuguese people don't stick together. They don't. They just don't. They tend to separate themselves. They tend to think that everyone else is a scumbag, and they just don't stick together for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is. The Greek people seem to be doing just fine when it comes to protesting. They just bust the shit out of buildings and whatnot. I don't know exactly what happens down there, but basically they seem to be pretty much united. And even if you know that Portugal, like, you know, there's Lisbon and there's Porto. And Porto people, they seem to know how to stick together as well. So there's a couple of sections in Portugal that seem to know how to stick together, because if you were to make toll booths in Porto, they would bust the shit out of those toll booths. So just a couple of side notes. But anyways, the thing about Portugal is, like, for instance, let's take a look at Portuguese healthcare, which is something that I really enjoy. So when I was, I think, 15, 16, something like that, I had a toe jam. I think that's what you call it, right? When your toenail like gets all stuck up inside your toe or something. And I go to a doctor and I say, oh, this thing has been happening to me for a while. It's like jammed in there. And the guy's like, okay, we're going to do surgery on it. So they do surgery. They remove the whatever. I don't know. They did some surgical procedure and nothing. Basically, my toe actually got worse. And as it got worse, it was now like busting pus from the place where the nail used to be and whatnot. It was gradually getting worse. So I keep going to the doctor. Guy keeps giving me, you know, pills and whatever, and ointments to put in my foot, and procedures that I need to do to disinfect and whatnot every day, change bandages, all that kinds of bullshit. So after a while, the toe jam became unbearingly, like I could barely walk because of the pain. So I go to a different doctor, and when I get there, it's just supposed to be a consult. So they tell me, okay, let's just put you in here, and the doctor's going to come in and see you. So some doctor comes along. He says, oh, why don't you get in here? He puts me on the table. He says, oh, why don't you lie down? And then I'm like, what are you doing? The guy's like, aren't you here to get another surgery? And I'm like, what? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? The guy's like, well, there's two things we can do with the nail. We can either do the surgery or do nothing at all. So what's it going to be? And I'm like, well, since I'm here, whatever, do another surgery. So the guy goes, he does another surgery, even more painful. Oh, and by the way, in case you guys don't know how they put anesthesia, how they do the anesthetics when you have a toe jam, it's like you see your finger like this. Basically, they stick a needle in here, like all the way up over here or some shit. Then they stick another needle in here and another needle in here. And this is how they do the anesthetics. And it doesn't really matter because you're still going to feel most of it anyways. I know by experience. So they do another surgery, whatever, and it became even worse than the first time. And you know what I ended up doing? I said, you know what? Fuck all this. I'm not doing another single surgery. I'm not seeing another single doctor. I'm going to endure it. And eventually I'm going to have to believe it's going to get better. And I suffered through months, but eventually it got better. So in reality, with all this amazing healthcare that we have, I would have been better if I hadn't done anything. And I'm whining. God damn it, I had so much else to say, but I would be whining even more. It's just, there's so much bad stuff in Portugal. Like my father used to have a company. They said, oh, you can't have your company in this place. So my father was like, okay. So he goes and buys a land somewhere else. And then the government said, and he was talking to the government. He was like, okay, so I'm going to buy this land here. Is this okay? And they say, oh yeah, this is fine. You can build your company here. You can do whatever you want here. This is fine. And after he bought the land, after he paid them for it, they said, oh, now you can't really do anything. And we were like, come again? Oh yeah, now you can't actually do anything because this is a protected land for the flower species or some shit, some ridiculous fucking nonsense. You can't actually do anything. So my father had a company, right? He was providing employment for 70 people, okay? Employment for 70 people. And we were already kind of in a crisis back then. So it's like he's providing employment for 70 people and all he gets is fucking roadblocks. Because that's how Portugal works. It's like a roadblock everywhere. It's like you want to actually advance something. You want to actually do something constructive. No, roadblocks. You know who Portugal helps? Portugal helps big companies. Like let's say Coca-Cola. If Coca-Cola comes to Portugal, Portugal is going to help the shit out of them. It helps the ISP companies, which are big as hell. They keep firing people. They don't really do anything. Their services are shit. And it's just overall, it's just crap. Let's put it like that. They also help our electricity company, which is quite funny. I find it really amusing. How does our electricity company needs help? How do they need help? They're the only ones. Nobody else is providing electricity in Portugal. Not a single fucking company. And they're like, oh, we're presenting massive profits this year. No wonder you have a monopoly on the country's electricity. Are you kidding me? It's just ridiculous. This is just one of the many retarded things. So here we have a government that just helps big companies and takes a big dump on the smaller companies. In fact, they put so many roadblocks in front of you that so many times I was just wondering, how does my father even deal with this kind of bullshit? I mean, seriously, he once had to fire someone because they didn't show up for work 2 weeks in a row. So he fired them. It's like, oh, you don't show up for work 2 weeks in a row, you're fired. And the guy files some kind of stupid lawsuit. And he says, oh, he fired me because he didn't like me. I think the guy was Brazilian, and I really don't want to go into racial difference, whatever. I really don't want to make it sound like I hate Brazilians, but the guy was Brazilian, and the guy's like, oh, he fired me because I'm Brazilian. And actually, people go there to make inspections and try to shut down a company that's providing employment for 70 other people. What the fuck is wrong with this? And there are so many more stories like this in Portugal that it's just retarded. Oh my God. I remember once I went to the emergency room with someone that was working for my father. He was a foreigner. And when I get to the emergency room, the guy had a piece of metal lodged in his eye. Okay? Like a little piece of metal lodged in his eye. So I go with him to the hospital. And you know what they ask? When I get there, they're not asking, oh, how did this happen? What happened to him? What's going on? How can we help? What can we do? You know, they're not concerned about that. The first thing they do is they ask, where is he from? I'm like, who gives a shit? He's got a piece of metal lodged in his fucking eye. Are you kidding me? You're going to ask me where the guy's from? I don't know. He's from some goddamn Eastern country. I don't care. Fix the man's eye. Are you kidding me? It's just there's so much stuff like this in Portugal. It's such ridiculous bureaucracy. The country's never going to move forward. And you wonder why I keep bashing Portugal? Come on. There's so many stories like I mean just yesterday. So I had a problem in the blinders in my living room. They're electrical blinders, whatever. I have a problem. So we called the technicians who mounted those things. They came here, I don't know, less than 5 months ago to replace a faulty engine. Okay, so less than 5 months ago, they were here replacing a faulty engine. So the engine busted. I didn't know what was going on, so we called them over. They come over with the worst attitude possible, the least, like no professionalism whatsoever. They come over to my house. They start tearing stuff apart to look at it. And then they say, oh, it's your fault. And I'm like, why is it my fault? Oh, it's because you've been cleaning this thing wrong. And now the one of the metal things has touched a wire in the engine. And I'm like, cleaning? We haven't cleaned those blinds in like 7 months. And he's like, oh, then you must have pulled them up with your hands. And I'm like, they're electrical. Why would I ever pull them up with my hands? That makes absolutely no sense. And then they're like, well, we don't really care. We have an engine here, but you're going to have to pay for it. And I'm like, you just installed a new engine in this thing less than 5 months ago. And you want me to pay for another one? I kind of have a problem with that. And so they're like, okay. So they leave. They don't even mount everything back. No, they leave everything like trashed across my living room. They don't even give a shit. They walk up and they leave. So, and this is the quality of services that you get in Portugal. And this is why I hate Portugal. Because I need to stop this right now. I don't even want to get through it anymore. It's just, And you say I'm just talking about how bad it is. No, I tried doing things like I've been in a company that actually had to deal with a lot of people that did tech support. And I've tried changing the mentalities of people. No, like we actually need to believe that people are decent fucking human beings. They're not. They're scumbags, especially here. And the thing is, why am I saying especially here? Because I've been in other countries. I've dealt with technical support from different countries, and trust me, it's different. It's a lot different. I've dealt with services in other countries, and it's different. And you're in Luxembourg, I'm pretty sure you're better off. Trust me. It's just the memories. The memories is probably what keeps you wondering, oh, but Portugal was this, Portugal was that. Yeah, it was this and it was that. But that's because that's what you're remembering. You have a selective memory. You probably just don't remember the bad parts. But anyways, don't take it too personal, PJ Cricket. I love your ass. And it's just, don't ever ask me to stop bashing Portugal because it's never going to happen. I hate it. I hate it. It is a beautiful country, though, I have to say. It is a rather beautiful country, but it's just too corrupt. It doesn't work. Anyways, now that this mega rant, and now that everyone's going to call, oh, it's the Khan's Winecast all over again. I'm sorry, but that one just had to come out. Next up, we have a comment by Mega Deluxo, and he has this to say. Hey, Ruri, completely off topic, but I was just curious if you had any interest in CCP's MMOFPS Dust 514. I know you don't really dig on FPSs too much, but with how much you enjoy multiplayer games, it might be something you should check out even if you don't cover it for commentary. Also, it's free. Can't beat free, am I right? Anyways, I like the new format you got here, and I'd suggest putting these gaming monologues on iTunes for those of us that... For those of us on the go can listen to your voice, cold-plagued or otherwise. Keep up the good work and get well soon. I've actually been trying to put it on iTunes. I've had some issues with it because I'm doing it slightly differently for the for this monologue stuff. So I am trying to put it on iTunes. I've just been having a couple of troubles with that. Dust 514 definitely interests me simply because of the technological evolution it is of what they're doing. They're connecting an MMORPG already existing, a space MMORPG that is EVE Online with an FPS. And I think that's pretty freaking sweet. If they actually, enable ships to go to planets and throw supplies down to people that are down in the planet playing the FPS thing, I think that would be amazing. I think that would bring a whole new level to gaming, and I highly support that project. I am going to be checking it out as soon as it comes out, that's for sure. I wasn't aware that it was free, but that's even better. That's just the icing on the cake. I'm definitely checking out Dust 514, and I think it's going to be an awesome success. Next up, we have a message by Zero, and Zero has this to say. Hey, Ruri, just wanted to let you know, I don't think you'll be able to unlock tendency areas until you kill the Rat Phantom in 3-1, just before the boss. I wasn't actually aware of that, but I'll be sure to check it out, so thank you very much for that comment. Next up, a comment from El Phoenix, and he has this to say. Hey, Ruri. Well, I'll post here because it's about two different things, so I'd better not messing your post section up. And he says, first thing, Kingdoms of Amalur. In many ways, it's like Skyrim mixed with World of Warcraft. Yes, especially because Kingdoms of Amalur is the basis to make an MMO game. I'm not being sarcastic. I mean that. They're actually working on an MMO game. For example, what you said yourself about the cartoonized look. However, there are some aspects of Kingdoms of Amalur that I dislike, and not without reason. First of all, it is not a true open-world RPG. For example, the most annoying fact that you can't jump by yourself and can only jump from certain points on cliffs. The ability system in itself is a great idea, but not greatly implemented. Okay, but what interests you and the others is the part about watching your videos about the game. While you do a great job at making the video and entertaining us for the most part just because of the fun you have playing it, the game still does not present entertaining content, for me at least. Second part, and way shorter, this thing about the Rurikhan show turning into Com's Gamecast. Okay, just why? I actually struggle not to have a true reason to dislike the change, but I happen to have one. This. It just isn't a game cast. It's a show about Rurikhan and the games he's playing and his projects and his life. I would ask you to reconsider. Okay, so let's first start up with the whole Kingdoms of Amalur thing. It is an open world RPG. It's just, you can say you don't have as much freedom as you have in other RPGs because you can't jump. And I'll tend to agree with you a little bit there. As a matter of fact, if I haven't already done so in previous Kingdoms of Amalur episode, I believe that in the upcoming ones, you'll see me rant a little bit about how you can't jump in some places and in some places you can jump. I'll give you that much. But it is still an open world RPG because you can go anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter what the world looks like. You can go anywhere in the world. At least that's what it seems like to me. But I'm still doing the whole following quest lines and whatever. But it is an open world RPG. It just, you can't jump all over the place, which is something common in MMOs and whatnot. But the other thing is the ability system is not greatly implemented. I don't know. Don't know if it's not greatly implemented. I don't know. I like the hybrid builds that you can make, like the one I have right now, the Battle Mage. Actually, it's not a Battle Mage anymore. It's a Crusader. Spoiler alert. But I like the game. I don't know. I really like the game. I realize it's not a game that's particularly special, but like I've said on the previous post, it's not exactly about what anyone else says about the game. It's about what you enjoy out of the game. So there's still a lot of people that enjoy the game and enjoy watching me play the game. So it's for them that I'm doing it. But I understand there's a lot of people that don't, because the game is in fact bland and generic. I'll give you that. It's a really generic game, but I still enjoy it. But anyways, regarding the other thing, why did Rurikhan show turn into Comms Gamecast? Okay, there's actually a really good reason for this that I've never really mentioned why the reason was that I was changing the name. At least I don't think I've mentioned it. But the main reason is I want to put this show on iTunes. And if you name it Rurikhan Show, nobody really knows that it's a show about gaming. And there's not a really good way to tell everyone, oh, this is a show about gaming on iTunes. There's not a really good way to do it, which is why I turned it into Khan's Gamecast. And there's a lot of interpretations of Gamecast. Like these days, if someone says they're casting a game, you imagine someone casting a StarCraft 2 game. That's the standard definition of casting a game these days. But the idea of cast in my title, it's from podcast. So Khan's Gamecast. It's like Khan's podcast about games, Khan's Gamecast. That was my idea. Well, the name might change. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be it. But the thing is, I need to kind of put gaming into the title, because if I want it to be a successful iTunes show, I need to have gaming on the title. Because otherwise, gamers are going to walk by the show and they're not going to figure out that it's a show about gaming if it just says Rurikhan Show. That is the reason why I had to change it. And it's not just about my projects in my life. Sometimes I talk about news. Like, for instance, on the latest show, I talked a whole bunch about DLC and probably ranted a whole bunch, and people didn't really like it, apparently. They seem to like when I'm more positive. And that is a good thing, because I believe that in this show that I'm going to be recording after this Q&A session, I'm going to be talking about Dark Souls on the PC, which is going to be a lot more positive show. But that's the reason why I changed it, and I hope you can understand why I changed from Rurikhan Show to Khan's Gamecast. It is mostly because of iTunes, because I want to have this show on iTunes, although it's not there yet, but I'm trying to work on getting it there. As a matter of fact, the show is already on MP3 format in my website. It's just for some reason, iTunes is not accepting my podcast feed. So I'll have to work that around and get it done, but that is the reason. Hope you can understand that, and thank you for your comment, El Phoenix. Next up, we have a comment from the King of the Souls, and he says, lol, if you had Dark Souls on Xbox, I'd pwned the dragon for... What? I'd pwned the dragon for you with my +5 lightning gargoyle halberd. Oh man, when I put this comment down, I misread it. I thought you were saying you would own me with your +5 gargoyle halberd. And I was just going to say, you can't own the Khan, but... apparently you were offering help and I was going to be hostile. Damn, I'm an asshole. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to kill the gaping dragon with the gargoyle halberd. I mean, with any lightning weapon, really, because he's really vulnerable to lightning, so you can just kick his ass real fast. But, yeah, thanks for the offer of help, but I'm not on Xbox. Next up, we have a comment from Sun. Sun Quan? Sun Quan Pike. What was it? Was that the name? Sun Quan Pike. Yeah, for the Lost chick. Yeah, I've recently watched Lost. That's why I have all these Lost references or whatever. But Sun has this to say. Hi, Ruri. I just needed to thank you. I was totally going to pass on picking up Dark Souls, but your Let's Play convinced me to buy it and helped me massively through my first playthrough. I'm going through NG Plus and loving every minute of it. Just thought I'd let you know it's all because of you. Bro Fist! Glad you're enjoying Dark Souls. Like I said many times over, I'm always happy to present Dark Souls to new people because this game deserves to be recognized as an amazing game. So yeah. Next up, we have another comment from Sun. He says, forgive me if you've answered this question already. Is there any way I can get my hands on this game? Because I think I'd get a huge kick out of playing a game like this. And he's talking about Malicious. Malicious is a PlayStation exclusive. You can get it on the PSN store. I believe it costs like $10, $15, something like that. Whatever it is, it's worth it. It's an amazing game. I love it. So Malicious is on the PSN. You guys can check that out there. So it's a downloadable game. It's pretty friggin' sweet. So yeah, hope you enjoy that game, son. Next up, we have a comment by Backstab5. Great video, Rurikhan. Just wanted to say that you were the one who introduced me to Dark Souls and Reckoning, which I'm loving. I'm also planning on buying Dragon's Dogma. I didn't knew about it before you talked about it, so thank you. Besides Dark Souls, what are some of your favorite games of all times? Brofist from Florida. Brofist from Florida. You're close to Side Strafe. So regarding besides Dark Souls, what are some of my favorite games of all time? Obviously Demon Souls. Demon Souls is an amazing game. Let's see, I would have to go with the Diablo series. Diablo 1, Diablo 2, loved those, still love those. I mean, amazing series. StarCraft, to me, best RTS game ever. And I realized that I do a lot of knocking on Blizzard, but I really love a lot of their games. World of Warcraft, I mean, and this is the part where a lot of you are going to go, what do you mean World of Warcraft? Hey, I've played World of Warcraft for a long time, and I loved most of the time that I've played it. So, I mean, I still respect World of Warcraft as an amazing game. It's just what it's slowly becoming into, and it's diverting away from me. That is the reason. What else? Wipeout. Wipeout's an amazing game. I love Wipeout. God of War. Love God of War. And there's probably more. It's just I can't really think about them off the top of my head, so you'll have to deal. Oh yeah, no wait, I gotta give a special shout out to No More Heroes. Amazing series, really amazing series. Love the No More Heroes series. And yeah, that's gonna be it for now. So hope you got an idea of the kind of games that I like. Next up, we have a comment by Knight, and Knight has this to say. Sup, Ruri, I recently purchased a PlayStation 3 for 2 reasons. One was because my friend sold his Xbox for a PlayStation 3, which means he upgraded, and I decided to get one with him. The other reason is, of course, Demon Souls. I played and beat Dark Souls, and it's pretty awesome playing the original game. I'm glad you're enjoying Demon Souls. Demon Souls is an awesome game. Also, the area guarded by the dragons with all that loot, one of the bodies contains the Ring of Great Strength, which increases your max equip load. Since you wear heavy armor and want more rolling speed, it seems, I recommend getting this ring. The way I did it is to run to the nearby bridge, wait for the dragon to start flying over. At this point, just make a sprint for all the loot. Just make sure you get out before the dragon comes back. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Might just have to do that. Next up, we have a comment by Steampunk Ruin, and this comment is awesome. I just had to put this comment up there. This comment was made in the Demon Souls video, Tower Knight Good Night, which is when I died to the Tower Knight. And Steampunk Ruin has this to say about that. You should have two-handed the ankles, Ruri. Yeah, I should have two-handed my ankles. You're goddamn right about that. Thanks for the comment, Steampunk Ruin. Next up, we have He-Man. He-Man 6 has this to say. Haha, love the dancing song from the Lore Stone. Can't wait for more, bro. Shield slam to the face. P.S. Who were your 2 favorite characters in Mass Effect 2? I saw your videos today because I just beat it last night and Tali died. And I was like, what? Lol, Samara died as well. Mordrin was my favorite with Samara. So, my two favorite characters in Mass Effect 2. Man, that's a hard choice. I'd have to go with Tali, because I really like the character of Tali. And the other character is probably Garrus. Garrus is one of my favorite characters of all time. You guys have no idea how much it costed me that Garrus died in my game. You literally have no idea. Like, it was like, oh, damn it, Garrus died. Garrus is one of my favorite characters of all time, because Garrus is kind of like that Batman type of mentality. He's like the guy that, well, not really Batman, because he doesn't care about killing people. He's more of a renegade. Garrus is like a renegade. He's like, he doesn't give a shit about anyone. He's like, what, you're a criminal? Bang, dead. He's like the Punisher. Yeah, that's Garrus right there, the Punisher. And Garrus is just an amazing character. So my two favorite characters would be Tali and Garrus. Yeah. Thanks for your comment, He-Man. And next up, we have another comment by Zero, and Zero has this to say. Hey, Khan, I know that you stack videos, so I was wondering how long is an average gaming session for you? I know you have a lot of other projects going on, so I wonder sometimes how you get the time. P.S. When I watched you answer both my questions in your last cast, I was so shocked I kicked my table and now I walk with a limp. Bro fist to you, sir, all the way from London. London! You're close to Miss Pandora. So yeah, obviously I answer most people's questions. At least I try to answer as much questions as possible. How long is the average gaming session for you? So there's two definitions here. First, there's a recorded game session and there's a game session. A recorded gaming session usually goes somewhere from 90 minutes to 3 hours. I've had some as long as 4 hours even. Straight up recording with live commentary. And that is a lot of strain on my throat, trust me, I know, because usually I end these and I go grab mint drop or something to help me clear my throat. But yeah, a recorded gaming session goes anywhere from 90 minutes to 4 hours of straight up commentary. Now, a regular gaming session where I'm not commentating, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm pretty sure that I've played Dark Souls for like 10 hours straight. So yeah, they can be pretty long when I'm not recording them. But yeah, hope that answers your question, Zero. And thank you for your comment. Next up, we have a comment by RedRel, and RedRel has this to say. Sup, Ruri, loving the Demon Souls playthrough. I was one of the original peeps that suggested you do a Let's Play Demon Souls series when you were still doing Dark Souls on your first playthrough. Big bro fist, thanks for that. I'm glad you suggested that, because it's something that I wanted to do for Demon Souls, because I believe that Demon Souls also deserves a lot of recognition. It is an awesome game. And he also says, I was wondering if it would be possible to upload longer Demon Souls videos, since you are only uploading the videos every 2 days. 20 minutes seems to be very short for them, maybe something like 35, 40 minutes if possible. Pretty sure people would watch them. You're pretty wrong, because I've tried that. I've actually done a lot of experiences. I've done hour-long videos. I've done 30-minute videos, 15-minute videos, 20, and it's not random as it might seem to you. I actually test these out, and then I go to analytics and I see usually what's the drop-off point and all that kind of stuff. And so far, the most efficient way of getting people to watch a full video is making it 20 minutes. At least for my type of content is about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's usually the sweet spot for my types of videos. And the reason that I do 20 minutes is because to me, it's not just enough that I make a video and only some people watch it. I want to make sure that I get as much people watching it as possible, but not just watching it, because here's the thing that you guys need to understand. As YouTubers, people will usually want to grab your attention in the first 15 seconds, because the first 15 seconds is usually when that publicity appears, the little ad. After that, a lot of people don't really care if you're watching their videos anymore, because it's a view, it's a monetized view, they're making money out of it. After that, it's whatever, doesn't matter. Me, on the other hand, I do care. I want to make sure that you watch the whole video. Honestly, if you're going to watch the video for the 15 seconds and stop, sure, it's going to get me a monetized view, all that bullshit, whatever. I would rather you not watch it. If you're just going to watch, 30 seconds, 1 minute of the video, I would rather you not watch it. I only want people to watch that are interested in the content. So that is why I do the 20-minute videos, because that is the highest rate I've had so far of people watching the video all the way. And that's extremely important to me, because I believe that, and the highest rate, you guys might be really surprised when I tell you, but the highest rate is about 50%, which means that only about 50% of the people that actually go to the video watch it all the way. Only 50% watch the video all the way. And what I've noticed is the more time you put on the video, the less people watch it. And now you're wondering, well, why are you making this particular video, which is like hour long or however long this one happens to be? Right now we're at 53 minutes. And you're like, so why do you make this video? Well, this video is dedicated to the community. So for this video, I post no limits. There's no limits for this video ever. If it takes me God knows how much long to answer a lot of the questions that are put on my website, because people take the time to actually go to the website, register, post there, I value that a lot. I really do value that a lot. And I try not to put limits on that. But the other videos, I try to appeal to a bigger audience. And I want people to watch the video all the way. And the 20 minutes is the highest success I've had with that so far. And now you're saying, oh, but what about the Kingdoms of Amalur videos? The difference between Kingdoms of Amalur videos is that there's also something that I consider to be important, which is the amount of action you get in each video. Now, with Dark Souls and Demon Souls, there's action all the way. Like, you could make a 5-minute Demon Souls or Dark Souls videos, and it would be cool because it would have a lot of action in those 5 minutes. Now, on Kingdoms of Amalur, it's not so, because there's a lot of dialogue. So for Kingdoms of Amalur, I have to ensure that you get enough action with each video. There needs to be some kind of a mixture between dialogue and action. Otherwise, there could actually be videos that were just dialogue, which would not be good. I would not like to post a video like that, which is the reason why for Kingdoms of Amalur, I do an exception. I extend it a little bit more. And there's a higher drop-off rate for that. But there also comes a time where the quality of the video itself will be degraded if I just do the 20-minute video. So people will watch it, but to me it will be a worse video. So there's a lot of thought process going to the length of videos that I make. And it's an extremely important process for me to make sure that I balance out action, number of people that are watching the video, how good the video is, the quality of it. There's a lot of factors in, and that is why I can't really go much above 20 minutes on Demons and Dark Souls, even though I have done it in the past on a couple of videos, but people tend to drop off more, and I want to make sure that as many people watch it as possible. That's the reason. So I hope you can understand that, Redrel, and thank you very much for your comment. And next up, we have a comment from the Maniac in motherfucking blue. So I'm going to get my G voice on, and y'all better get ready, because here it comes. What's up, big motherfucking balls? Con is you gangsta ass boss, the Maniac in the motherfucking blue essay. I hope you having fine ass time with motherfucking Mass Effect 3. Probably all doing Tally Doggy style. In my playthrough for the fucking ME3, I killed the entire motherfucking Quarian fleet. Don't hate, but I like get better. I also like to talk about the motherfucking disappointing end, but I don't want to spoil the game for your G followers and you, Big K. Into some other motherfucking shit. I don't know what to motherfucking do, Big K, if to crack myself up or if to piss off that motherfucking Diablo 3 is not gonna have PvP. Motherfucking Blizzard is fucking up this shit, Hesse. They need to get their joint together, dog. I guess that's what motherfucking happens when you are a manager and own the same motherfucking company that controls sequels like motherfucking Diablo 2, and the same shit goes to motherfucking StarCraft and Warcraft Hood. This motherfucking pussy ass of Blizzard are not the same fools that used to make hardcore games for hardcore gamers that cared about the motherfucking journey and experience and not the motherfucking paper. It's sad to see that this company is not managed by guys that allow the motherfucking flow of creativity, imagination, and innovation that put this company on top and produce crazy ass titles. Anyways, Big K, into some good shit. Thanks to the motherfucking vids, I feel motivated to do some playthrough of my own, the G-Way essay. I want to star in some motherfucking game that I used to enjoy back in my childhood. Some Resident Evil, the complete series, also some Diablo, and some Devil May Cry. What do you think, Big G? Do you think the community will enjoy my motherfucking gangsta way? So there it is, G. Time to hit my usual hustle. And before I forget, G, tell that motherfucking punk ass Hulk Hogan that the main motherfucking reason why he ain't got shit on you is cause I'll whip his ass, shunk his ass like I used to do it in the joint. I'll stump his motherfucking nuts so hard that he'll regret his motherfucking existence. Them motherfuckers hasn't shit on me. Hesse, fake wrestler. I train with motherfucking MMA fighters, homie. Anyways, Boss K, I really have to get back to my hustling, so remember to keep smashing them motherfucking doors, keep rising to the top, and that pussies don't get pussy. I'll see ya and on the motherfucking next time. Man, these Maniac and Blue comments always get me going. So you killed the Quarian fleet, man? The hell is wrong with you, man? Tally's in there. I do not support that at all. You should not have killed the Quarian fleet. Although I did punch the Quarian fleet commander in the gut in Mass Effect 3. He was like, oh, I'm going to fucking shoot your shit now. Are you now? Punch the fucker in the gut. He had it coming. You did a lot of ranting on Blizzard. Here's the thing, though. I'm not exactly sure about that whole Diablo 3 PvP thing, but I have to, whenever someone mentions it, I have to say, Blizzard said they're not going to have PvP arenas on launch. Now, in Diablo 2, PvP was not made in an arena. PvP was in-game, like you would join people games, and then you would go hostile and hunt them down and kill them. So I'm wondering if regular PvP is still enabled or not. It might be out there somewhere. I haven't really researched it yet, but that is one of the things that kind of shocks me every now and then when people just say there's no PvP. Does that mean there actually is no PvP? You can't even PvP in the world? Or is it just the PvP arenas? I don't think they've clarified that yet, so I'm not sure. StarCraft was amazing. StarCraft 2 is still pretty good in my opinion. I like StarCraft 2. I don't really like the matchmaking system, and one of the things that got me tired in StarCraft 2 is the fact that people just follow pre-made strategies and there's not a lot of improvisation. Like, let's say, oh, I want to make a stupid build like I did at the start of StarCraft 2, which was, what was it? The big Walker things the Protoss have, and I don't really remember the name of those. But it was those big Walker things they have that walk through cliffs and whatnot, and Phoenixes. And it was an amazing Colossi. It was Colossi and Phoenixes. I loved that strategy. Obviously, it's not a very viable strategy, but it was a lot of fun. And I liked using it, and it wasn't expected and whatnot. But these days, it's like you try pulling something like that, but someone's already 4-gating your ass because everyone's doing 4-gate or 2-gate or 3-gate or whatever it is the standard strategy to do now. Or if you're Terran, you're always going to be Mass Marines, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, cookie cutter strategies kind of ruined the game a little bit for me. What else? Do I think that people would enjoy to see you play through some games? Well, there's a really easy way to find out. Do it. Just do it. Just create a YouTube channel, do some commentary on top of some gaming footage, post it up there, and we'll see. I'll even give you some tips if needed be. So try it out and see what happens. And Hulk Hogan, I ain't scared of no Hulk Hogan. I'll headbutt his face. Actually, I'll headbutt his mustache off. How about that? Thanks for the comment, Maniac and Blue. Next up, we have a comment by Kelly. Kelly has this to say. Ruri, have you lost weight? You're looking more healthy. I'd certainly like to think so, but I'm too scared to check. I'm too scared to check because I'm afraid I'll be disappointed, so I just won't check. I've definitely been, I wouldn't necessarily say exercising, but I've been doing this thing that I call my daily walk, which basically I grab these weights that I have of 2 kilos each. and I go outside and I just walk around for like, I don't know, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour. I walk around and I carry these weights with me and I, start, what do you call this thing? I know that there's a name for this exercise, but I don't really remember. Pull-ups? No, pull-ups is when you're on the floor and pushing up. No, that's push-ups. Pull-ups is the other thing. I don't know. Basically, I pull my arms up with the weights. That's what I do while I'm walking for 40 minutes or so. So I get good exercise on my legs, get good exercise on my arms, and a good exercise on my wrists too, which is important for gamers because we spend all our times, handling controllers and whatnot, and we develop carpal tunnel or carpal tunnel. So I'm glad I look more healthy. Thanks for your comment, Kelly. Next up, we have another comment from Knight. Knight has this to say. Rurikhan, just wanted to get your opinion on something. What game do you think is harder, Dark Souls or Demon Souls? I ask this because I played and beat Dark Souls first, then I got Demon Souls. Personally, I think Dark Souls is harder, but maybe that's just because I played that first. Knowing the game's mechanics probably helped a lot in my current playthrough for Demon Souls. Anyways, just curious, love the vids, keep them coming, brofist. Brofist! So, what do I think is harder? Demon Souls. In my opinion, Demon Souls is definitely harder because there's a lot of bosses that you can't even block because they'll still do damage. That's one of the points. And in Dark Souls, you can pretty much block most of the stuff, assuming you have the right shield. You can pretty much block most of the stuff, whereas in Demon Souls, it doesn't really go down that way. And also, in Dark Souls, you have the bonfire checkpoint system. In Demon Souls, not so much. In Demon Souls, it's like you go all the way to the boss, you kill the boss. You don't kill the boss, you died, you have to go all the way back. So Dark Souls felt easier for me, and Demon Souls still feels harder. So in my opinion, Demon Souls is harder. King of the Souls has this to say, and he was talking about Malicious. Fucking hell, she has long hair. And Ruri, why do you keep missing days of videos like earlier you missed 3 or 4 days? Oh yeah, I remember why I put this here. I've missed updating my website for a couple of days this past week, I believe. And that is because I'm going through a couple of changes in my YouTube channel, and that's demanding a lot of my attention. And I haven't really been able to have as much time as I used to have because basically before these changes that are coming down that I really can't talk about them yet, I'll be sure to announce everything once everything is done and settled, because nothing is settled as of yet. We're having some issues with it. But I've had to spend a lot of time managing some YouTube stuff. And whereas previously it was just like upload and put the website and publish to social media and organize in a show and put in a playlist, and I would do all this standard stuff, and it was pretty standard. So like my upload process and everything that came after it would be pretty simple and pretty fast and neatly done in a hurry. Now it's actually like, okay, do this, now see what else needs to be handled with my YouTube channel, check this, check that thing. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing, and that has been requiring a lot of my attention. And that is why I've been missing a couple of days in my website, but I'm really working hard not to miss those anymore. So sorry for that, and thank you for your comment, King of Souls. Next up, we have a comment by Red Van Dam, and he has this to say. Demon Souls is fucked up. I bought it a year ago when I finally got a PlayStation 3, played it a bit, died a lot, and packed it in. It was too depressing dying at a boss and walking my ass through a full level just to die again and again. After beating Dark Souls a couple of times, I thought I'd try playing Demon Souls again, like somehow my domination of Dark Souls would translate into being good at Demon Souls. It did not, and my only problem with the game quickly reminded me why I stopped playing it. That long, lonely walk back to the boss. A boss that I usually died so quickly on, I had no idea what the hell I did wrong or what I should do next time. It's damn near criminal to make you go all the way through the level again just to get a second chance. From Software should be tried at a UN tribunal under the Geneva Convention, because this shit is torturous. I can honestly say that checkpoints are probably the reason I love Dark Souls the way I did. and hated Demon Souls the way I do. That said, I'm fairly close to beating Demon Souls for the first time, but I already know it's not a game I'll be able to pick up years later and enjoy like Dark Souls is. Demon Souls was made for better men than I. Much respect to the Khan, bro fist. Yeah, Demon Souls, like I said, it's harder. It's harder in my opinion. And yeah, the bonfire checkpoints is a big deal of why Dark Souls is easier in my opinion. And you'll actually see, no, actually I'm not going to say anything. Just going to let you guys enjoy it when it happens. Next up, we have a comment by Luke, and Luke has this to say. Hey man, been watching your videos for quite a while now and discovered your videos ever since you began. I'm pretty much submitting your Wrath of the Lich King tanking guide. However, today my question is based on SWTOR. I do not know much about the game and I'm considering purchasing it hopefully really soon due to its rave reviews, etc. And I know this video is quite old, being the end of January, but I really hope you can still read this and hopefully answer it for me. So I was wondering whether you believe that Xbox 360 or computer Macintosh is better for SWTOR? What? Dude, SWTOR is not available on the Xbox 360. Keeping in mind graphics, gameplay, and viable controls for the game, etc. Also, I was hoping you can tell me whether or not it would be better in online aspects to either computer, console, or Xbox 360 console. Your opinion on the game would also be very helpful if you have the time. Thanks a lot, man. I hope you can answer my question. Good luck with your next videos, Luke. So for starters, as far as I'm aware, SWTOR is only available on the PC platform, not available on the Macintosh platform. So if you're getting it for the Macintosh, you'll have to use something like Boot Camp in order to run it. So that's number one. So no PlayStation 3, no nothing, no Xbox 360, forget about it. The only thing you can get is PC or Macintosh with Boot Camp, whatever you want to call it. Next, what do I think about SWTOR? I mean, it's kind of hard for me to give you an opinion on SWTOR, especially because I haven't really said anything yet, but I'm going to be canceling my SWTOR account simply because I haven't had time to play SWTOR. And the few occasions where I've had time to play SWTOR, I found it is near impossible to get back into it after a long period of absence, because I log into the game and I'm like, okay, I got this quest to do, and then I log in and I'm like, okay, so I got to go here, and then I got to go there and do this quest and kill 50 people. And I'm like, oh, I'm so used to just picking up a game like Dark Souls at this point. There's just, I pick up Dark Souls, play Dark Souls, have fun with Dark Souls, that getting back into SWTOR and getting into that grind mentality of just killing 50 mobs for no reason is hard. It's really hard for me. That being said, out of all the MMOs being out right now, I think that SWTOR is definitely one of the best. I'm not a big fan of Terra. I played a little bit at the beta. I didn't like how grindy it was. It was even grindier than SWTOR in my opinion. And SWTOR at least has a cool story to keep you motivated, keep you going, which is good. I enjoyed a lot of the story that I've played. So it does definitely have a good story. And it's been getting a lot of improvements, but the PvP in SWTOR, it's still pretty crappy in my opinion. It's still really crappy PvP system. There's a lot of imbalance. I believe that after all this time, Sith sorcerers are still ridiculously overpowered, which makes no sense. They've been overpowered since day one and it still hasn't been addressed. Are you kidding me? Come on. They have all those ridiculous stuns that they get with their lightnings and whatnot, and I'm sorry, it's just a little bit too much. So, yeah, the PvP is not awesome. The PvE seems to be pretty sweet, although I haven't done any raiding or operations or whatever you want to call it in SWTOR. So, can't say a lot about that. But, yeah, your only choice is computer. I'm sorry to break it down to you. If you thought you could get it on the 360, you really can't. Star Wars games on the 360 or something else. It's not SWTOR. So, anyways, hope this helps you with your decision. It is a good game, but it is a game that I currently have no time to play in. Because here's the thing. When you play a game like SWTOR or World of Warcraft or whatever of these MMOs that are currently out, you have to dedicate a lot of your time to that game. And that's something that I can't do because it's like, okay, now I have to play Demon Souls. Now I have to play Kingdoms of Amalur. Now I have to play some Dark Souls. Now I have to play, and it's like, when I'm playing through all these games, and all of a sudden it's like, now I have to play SWTOR. I go into SWTOR, and SWTOR is such a huge time investment when compared to any of the other things that I'm playing, that I just completely get immediately demotivated because I don't want to play SWTOR for like 4 hours straight because I don't have the time. I want to go get into SWTOR, get a good half hour, 40 minutes in, get a couple of good, and you don't really get a sense of progression unless you have a lot of time to spend on it. But if you're an MMO player, you already know this. So, anyways, thank you very much for your comment, Luke. Next up, we have the King of Souls, and he says, do you want the PC's extra content to come as DLC for consoles, I assume? So do you want the PC's extra content to come as DLC for consoles in Dark Souls? Yes, I do. And they better do it. But there's going to be a whole topic about that on Khan's Gamecast. So stay tuned for that. As a matter of fact, it probably came before this, so I hope you stayed tuned for that. And yeah, that's going to be it for this Q&A. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. My throat is killing me, and I am out of here. Later.